Hi folks, BP released their 2022 annual results today, and what a shock. They made quite a lot of profit, but is the news as good as everybody is saying that the news is? My name's Chris, and I'm a qualified accountant, and today we're going to have a little look through just a brief look through the financial results, and we're going to come up with an unorthodox investor percentage, and put BP on our unorthodox investor leaderboard. Although this is the first company I'm putting on the leaderboard, so it's going to establish a new trend for this channel. So this is the most I've ever seen BP go up in one day. 8% is quite a hefty chunk for this company. It has a market cap now of about £93 billion, which means that it went up today by about £7 billion worth, which is a really, really big increase. So was that warranted? Well, what we can do is I tend to check Yahoo. Yahoo gives good share prices, often quite good graphs, but sometimes maybe more so on the phone rather than on the laptop. But here you can see the sort of month graph, 6-month graph. BP's sort of been trending up, despite the fact that oil prices have been declining recently. But BP has been doing well over the sort of past year as the oil price has been quite high, and BP tends to do quite well when the oil price is above 60. It states this quite a lot in its annual report that any sort of oil price above $60 a barrel is quite good for it. So at the moment, the oil price is around about $76, $77 a barrel. So BP continues to make good profits off the back of that. So if we go across to one of the websites I use to check the news, this is London South East. You can just type in lse.co.uk. And then if you want to search for a stock, let's just type in BP with a full stop, and that will bring up the company there. You can click on that. You've got a range of icons, and we're going to go to BP Live RNS, and that will give us the news that was released today. So if we scroll down, we'll see we've got something there called share repurchases, transaction in own shares, and we actually see 4 pieces of news have been released today. This 4Q22 means quarter 4, which is October, November, December of 2022, part 1 of 1. And then BP Integrated Energy Company Strategy Update is just a sort of further note to the results. So if we click on this, what it will show us is the results. It's in a text format, so they give us a nice printer-friendly way of sort of downloading it, which I have, which we can go on to just now as well, and that's just much easier to sort of see what is going on. And you can see here it's in a much nicer format. So let's use this. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at what BP results are and whether it warrants an 8% increase in the share price. So the headline number, essentially, is this. So I don't know if you can see this here. This is the number that's being banded around quite a lot. It might be quite small on your screen, but you can see it there, 27.653. So this is this $28 million profit for the year that everybody's talking about, and how BP have, been making lots of money while everybody's paying higher energy bills. So that's the number that's sort of angering people, but also making shareholders quite happy because it means that that money is going to come back to them in some shape or form. So that's the sort of number we're sort of looking at. And you can see year on year, so last year, 2021, BP made a profit of around about 13 billion. So that's more than doubled, hence the excitement on the share price. So based upon that number alone, we can kind of say that the share price rise is warranted. BP rose quite a lot more than Shell, which is quite interesting as well. So I'm yet to do an analysis of Shell, so we'll have to do that at some point and see whether, which of these two companies is sort of in a better standing. But what's really interesting about this is that this year, BP wrote off a $30 billion investment in Rosneft, which is in Russia. And it kind of made that money back all within this 1 year. So BP should roughly be at the same point that it was at before COVID, which was round about £5.50 to around about £6.50. And at the moment, it's sitting round about £5.16. So it is getting back up to those levels. So what else are we looking at here? Well, the other thing that the investors really liked was the dividend. The dividend is right here, and you can see that the dividend has been increased by roughly 10%, in fact 10% exactly, I think, up to 6.61 cents, which is equivalent for the year. It's about 22 pence a year, which is roughly about 4.3% dividend yield, which is pretty good, and investors like that as well. They like to see dividends increase. Also, in addition to that, the BP announced a share buyback of 2.75 billion, and of course, investors like that as well, because that's about 2.5% of the market cap they're going to be returning over the next sort of 6 months, which is a good return on top of the dividend as well. So, let's have a look at the unorthodox investor percentage, and I'll show you just what how we do that and what it means. So we're going to do the unorthodox investor return here. And here you can see BP's market cap. The market cap is 93 billion at the moment, at current valuation. And what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the profit that BP will make year on year. And that will give us our unorthodox investor return, okay? Because we're going to expect that BP, we're going to essentially forecast what the profit's going to be. So if we have a look at what the profit was this year, right, 27.6 billion. I don't think it's going to be like that again, because the oil price hit as high as 130 and went as low as about 70. The previous year, 2021, the oil price was a little bit all over the place. It was down around about sort of 50 and it went up to about 70 or 80. So I believe that going forward, as long as the oil price can stay around about 70 or 80 or even down as low as 60, it's fine. BP should be able to make a profit of around about 15 billion. So that's going to be my estimate for the profit. We're not going to go with 28 billion. That's going to give the current PE of BP. But we're not going to go with that. We're going to go with the realistic expectation. That's what we do on this channel, is the realistic expectation. So we're going to say that the profit is going to be 15 billion. And what that will give us, if we do 15 billion divided by the market cap, which is 93 billion, then that's going to give us an unorthodox investor return of 16.1%. So if you invest right now, that is the return that you would expect to get because of the profit that BP is making. And of course, this is all just estimates, and it might not come true because share prices go up, they go down, but this is what's expected from the profits. Now, the real return, let's go into that. So the real return is what I class as the money that you're actually going to receive in your hands, okay? And that consists of dividends or share buybacks. Okay, so to calculate the real return, what we're going to do is we're going to take the dividend. So the dividend is 22 pence. We're going to divide that by the share price currently, and that gives us 4.3%. So the dividend's 4.3%, and we're going to get that back. We're going to also add the share buyback, which is £2.5 billion worth. It's actually more in dollars. And we're going to divide that by the market cap, which is 93 billion. So you can see that the real return is 7%. So that's what we're going to get back in our hands if we invest today. So that's quite a good return. Well, I say it's quite a good return. What we're going to do is we're going to add to this leaderboard, and we're going to see which stocks are the best to invest in based upon these metrics here. So a 16% return is considered quite good, considering you put your money in a bank account and it might only garner sort of 3, 4, 5%, and we're looking at the moment on BP of about 16%. However, if the oil price goes back up to 130 again, then we could be looking at another sort of £28 billion profit. And if it was £28 billion worth of profit, we'd be looking at a return of about 30%. So, you know, and obviously the opposite could be true as well. If the oil price was to sink, then we would see a lot lower percentage. So that gives you an idea of the sort of value of BP, and hopefully that makes a lot of sense. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave some comments below. But it does indeed look like the increase in the share price today was warranted, and it definitely looks like very good news for BP shareholders. Whether every member of the public actually likes that, because obviously they're going to be facing higher energy bills, that's another question, but that's a topic for another video. So as usual, guys, just leave any questions, hit the like, and definitely subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Feel free to watch. There's going to be 2 more of my videos here, and I will see you on the next video.